The term GOT describes a heterogeneous clinical spectrum of disease, including hyperuricemia. So this is the condition where what happened, the level of uric acid is increased. So that is called as hyperuricemia. Recurrent attacks of acute arthritis. Then there is attack of arthritis. That is, what is arthritis? It is the inflammation of joints associated with monosodium urate crystal. So this high level of uric acid in the blood, they actually gets combined with sodium and form monosodium urate crystal, and they deposit in the synovial fluids. Deposit of monosodium urate crystal, that is tophi. So if this monosodium urate crystal is getting deposited in the synovial fluid, then it is a GOT, and if it is getting deposited in the nearby tissues of synovial joints, then that is called as tophi. In tissue in and around the joints, interstitial renal disease, and uric acid nephrolithiasis. So nephrolithiasis is a formation of stone. So that can also take place. So underlying metabolic disorder of GOT is hyperuricemia, defined physicochemically as a serum that is supersaturated with monosodium urate. So what is hyperuricemia? It is a condition where the serum is supersaturated with monosodium urate. If you see the epidemiology, there is a direct correlation between serum uric acid concentration and both the incidence and prevalence of GOT. Population studies have shown that serum urate concentration correlates with increasing age. It happens because of the increasing age. Then serum creatinine, then blood urea nitrogen, then male genders, blood pressure, body weight, and alcohol intake. So this you can call it as there are some etiologies for the high level of uric acid. An incidence of GOT higher for individual, higher amount of meat or fish. So those who are eating meat and fish, the incidence of GOT is more for them. GOT affects men about 7 to 9 times more than women. So it is the male 7 to 9 times more affected than women. The incidence of GOT increases with age, peaks during 30 to 50 years of the age, with an annual incidence ranging from 1 in 1,000 per man, ages 40 to 44 years, and 1.8 in 1,000 for those aged between 55 to 60 years. Then serum uric, the lowest rates of GOT are observed in young women, approximately 0.8 cases per 10,000 patients per year. Serum uric acid level in women approach those of men once menopause has occurred. So in women, actually this happens very less, but it also becomes common when the women acquire this menopause. But in men younger than 30 years of age or in menopausal women may indicate an inherited enzyme defect or the presence of renal disease. So if it is happening in men in young than 30 years, then it indicates that there is some problem in the enzymes and or some problem in the kidney. Because kidney is the organ which excretes the uric acids. Etiology and pathophysiology in humans, the production of uric acid is the terminal step in the degradation of purines. So purine and pyrimidines, as you know, it is the nitrogenous basis in the nucleic acid DNA. So when this purines gets metabolized, then the final product formed is uric acid. normal uric acid levels are near the limits of urate solubility. So this level of uric acid is maintained because of the solubility of urate. It is not so much soluble because of the delicate balance that exists between the amount of urate produced and excreted. So it is the uric level is always balanced, and that is balance is due to the its production and its excretions are maintained. Humans have higher uric acid levels than other mammals because they don't express the enzyme uricase, which converts uric acid to more soluble allantoin. So humans have higher uric acid level than other mammals. Why? Because they don't have this enzyme uricase, which actually converts uric acid into more soluble allantoin. So that's why their body it's depositing this uric acid. Then God offers exclusively in humans in whom a miscible pool of uric acid exists. Under normal conditions, the amount of accumulated uric acid is about 1200 milligram in men and about 600 milligram in women. So this is the normal uric acid level in the man and women. The size of urate pool is increased several folds in individual with God. So if person is having this God, then this level, that is 1200 milligram in man and 600 milligram in women, it increases from that level to more concentration. This excess from either overproduction or under secretion of uric acid. And why the level of uric acid is increasing in the body is because of the too much production of uric acid and less excretion of uric acid from the body. Several conditions are associated with either decreased renal clearance or overproduction of uric acid, leading to hyperuricemia. So there are only one target, that is the level of uric acid in the blood is increasing by decreased renal clearance or too much production of uric acid. Overproduction of uric acid. The purines from which uric acid is produced originate from three sources. The first is dietary purine. The purine is present in the food. Then conversion of tissue nucleic acid to purine nucleotides. Then de novo synthesis of purine bases. So these are the three important sources by which uric acid is formed. The purines derived from these three sources enter a common metabolic pathway leading to the production of either nucleic acid or uric acid. So these are three important sources of purines from which the metabolism, after metabolism we get nucleic acid or uric acid. Under normal circumstances, uric acid may accumulate excessively if production exceeds excretion. So if production is more than excretion, then the level of uric acid is automatically going to increase. So this is a small flow chart which shows that how purine metabolizes and we get uric acids. So this is ribose 5-phosphate acts by PRPP. PRPP is phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate, and then it will form this and it combines with glutamine. Then it forms inosinic acid. Inosinic acid converts into hypoxanthine. Hypoxanthine converts into xanthine, and xanthine converts into uric acid. So this is the way purine gets metabolized and uric acid is formed. The average human produces about 600 to 800 milligram of uric acid each day. Dietary purines play an important role in the generation of hyperuricemia. In the absence of some derangement in purine metabolism or elimination. Diet modifications are important for the patients with such problems who develop symptomatic hyperuricemia. Several enzyme systems regulate purine metabolism. For the metabolism of purines, it is actually done by several enzymes. Abnormalities in these regulatory systems can result in overproduction of uric acid. So any problem in this metabolism of urine can cause too much production of uric acid. Uric acid may also be overproduced as a consequence of increased breakdown of tissue nucleic acid. So what happens when the tissue nucleic acid starts breaking down too much, then also it produces too much uric acid due to excess rates of cell turnover. Then myeloproliferative and lymphoproliferative disorders. Then polycythemia, psoriasis, and some types of anemia. So this is also a condition where uric acid is too much produced. Then cytotoxic medications used to treat these disorders can result in overproduction of uric acid secondary to lysis and breakdown of cellular matter. Two enzyme abnormalities resulting in overproduction of uric acid have been well described. The first is in increase in the activity of phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate, that is in short form it is called as PRPP synthetase. So this enzyme activity, if it is going to increase, it leads to increased concentration of PRPP, that is phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate. So this is the one enzyme. Actually, two enzymes abnormalities which cause the production of uric acid. In that, the first enzyme is called phosphoribosyl pyrophosphate. PRPP is a key determinant of purine synthesis and uric acid production. The second enzyme is the deficiency of hypoxanthine guanine phosphoribosyl transferase, that is called HGPRT. So PRPP and HGPRT is the two enzymes. If you see this here, then we have PRPP enzymes and we have HGPRT enzymes. So these two enzymes plays an important role. If there is some problem in this enzyme, it leads to overproduction of uric acid. HGPRT is responsible for the conversion of guanine to guanylate acid and hypoxanthine to inosinic acid. These two conversions requires PRPP as the co-substrate and are important reactions involved in the synthesis of nucleic acid. So if you see the metabolism of urine, these two enzymes play an important role. A deficiency of this HGPRT enzymes lead to increased metabolism of guanine and hypoxanthine to uric acid and to more PRPP to interact with glutamine in the first step of urine pathway. And complete absence of HGPRT results in childhood Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. So in childhood, if this enzyme is not there, then it leads to a syndrome that is called a Lesch-Nyhan syndrome, characterized by choreoathiosis, spasticity, mental retardation, and markedly excessive production of uric acid. Then a partial deficiency of the enzymes may be responsible for marked hyperuricemia in otherwise normal, healthy individuals. Okay, so this is the way by which these two enzymes plays an important role for the overproduction of uric acid. Then there is under secretion of uric acid. There are some reasons which cause less secretion of uric acid, and because of that, the uric acid starts accumulating in our body. Normally, uric acid does not accumulate as long as production is balanced with elimination. So generally the excretion and production is maintained, and the uric acid is not going to accumulate. About two-thirds of the daily uric acid produced is excreted in the urine, and the remainder is eliminated from gastrointestinal tract after enzymatic degradation by colonic bacteria. So out of three parts, two parts of the uric acid is going through the urine and one part is going through the GIT after enzymatic degradation. The vast majority of the patients, that is 80 to 90% with GOT, have a relative decrease in the renal excretion of uric acid. So main reason for is that the removal of uric acid through the urine decreases drastically, that leads to GOT. And that is why it happens. The reason is unknown. Primary idiopathic hyperuricemia. So why there is a decreased excretion of uric acid through the urine? The reason is unknown. That's why it is called as primary idiopathic hyperuricemia. A decline in the urine excretion of uric acid to a level below the rate of production leads to hyperuricemia and increased miscible pool of sodium urate. So if there is a less urine excretion, then there is a if the excretion is going to less than the production, then it leads to hyperuricemia. And if it is hyperuricemia, then there is more sodium combined with this uric acid and forms sodium urate. Almost all the urates in the plasma is freely filtered across the glomerulus. So the sodium urate usually gets filtered in the kidney, in the glomerulus. Concentration of uric acid appearing in the urine is determined by multiple renal tubular transport process in addition to filtered loop. Evidence favors four-component model including glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, okay, then tubular secretion and post-secretory reabsorption. So there are four important processes involved. The first is there is a filtration, then there is a reabsorption, then there is a tubular secretion and post-secretory reabsorption. Approximately 90% of filtered uric acid is reabsorbed. So out of 100%, 90% is getting reabsorbed in the proximal tubule, probably by both active and passive transport mechanism. There is a close linkage between proximal sodium reabsorption and uric acid reabsorption. So there is a reabsorption of sodium and uric acid. A condition that in sodium reabsorption, that is dehydration, also leads to increased uric acid reabsorption. So the condition which is causing the reabsorption of sodium, the same condition can also lead to increased uric acid reabsorption. The exact site of tubular secretion of uric acid has not been determined, and this too appears to involve an active transport process. Post-secretory reabsorption occurs somewhere distal to secretory site. By enhancing renal urate reabsorption, insulin resistance is also associated with GOT. The pathophysiologic approach to the evaluation of hyperuricemia requires determining whether the patient is overproducing or under excreting uric acid. So these are the some points. But for pathophysiology, we have to mainly draw this flow chart. And one time this question has been asked, the difference between GOT and rheumatoid arthritis. So whole pathogenesis, if you remember this flow chart, as it's going to be enough. So in this flow chart, if you see, the GOT is starting because of too much of uric acid in the blood, and this uric acid is going to react with sodium and form sodium crystals. Toffee. The toffee word is that if the sodium crystal is going to deposit not exactly in synovial joints, but the tissue around the synovial joints is called as toffee, deposited in soft tissue and joints. So this leads to inflammatory condition. Sometime, so when this sodium urate is getting deposited in the joints, then inflammation will start. Then infiltration of granulocytes that phagocyte the urate. Then that place, what is going to come is the macrophage, one type of macrophage that is called as granulocytes will come and it do the phagocytosis and try to eat urate crystal. And during this process, there is a generation of free radicals. And this free radical is going to damage the tissues. So once the sodium urate crystal is going to come into that soft tissue and joints, then your granulocytes is going to phagocytize and release free radicals, and this free radical damage the tissue. Then because of the damage of the tissue, there is a release of proteolytic enzymes, glycoprotein. And release of this proteolytic enzymes, glycoproteins, cause the release of lactic acid, and because of the release of lactic acid, there is more precipitation of urate crystal. So as well as there is a release of lysosomal enzymes, and this lysosomal enzymes which gets released due to the release of this proteolytic enzymes, then cause this destruction of joints. So these are some colchicine, indomethacin. So these are the medicine actually used for the treatment of gout. That is not required to write. Okay, so indomethacin and colchicine. These all are important anti-inflammatory agents which help in the treatment of gout. So this question for 5 marks students gouts. If you remember this flow charts. Okay, and same story you can write related with under excretion of uric acid and overproduction of uric acid. So overproduction of uric acid and under excretion of uric acid is the main reasons for hyperuricemia. Okay. So in gout, mainly you have to remember that this is a condition which occurs due to hyperuricemia. That is due to the increased uric acid production, and this uric acid actually comes from the metabolism of urine, which is a nitrogenous basis. So these uric acid levels actually increase when there is imbalance between the production and excretion. And then this flow charts, so that will be enough for 5 marks for explaining the pathogenesis of gout. So just remember the keywords about the gout is uric acid. Okay, so uric acid combined with the sodium to form sodium crystals, sodium urate crystals. Okay, so if this crystal gets deposited into the tissues and synovial joints, then the phagocytes, granulocytes comes and try to phagocyte these crystals. And during this process, there is a generation of free radicals, and this free radical damage the tissues around the joints. And once the tissue is damaged, then it is going to release proteolytic enzymes. And once the proteolytic enzymes is released, one of proteolytic enzymes there is lysosomal enzymes. Then this lysosomal enzymes cause the destruction of joints, as well as this proteolytic enzymes cause the release of lactic acid, and because of the acid there is more precipitation of urate crystal in the joints. So this all leads to a condition called gout. Then one more 5 marks question they have asked, where they have asked to differentiate between the gout and rheumatoid arthritis. So you can see this difference. Gout It is a painful joints due to uric acid crystals being present, whereas rheumatoid arthritis are painful joints because of an autoimmune reaction. So rheumatoid arthritis, the keywords will be it is actually autoimmune reaction. And what is autoimmune reaction? It is a condition where your own immune system will identify the synovial joints or synovial fluid or synovial membrane as a foreign substance, and your own immune systems will attack those synovial membrane and destroy. So that leads to rheumatoid, a painful joint condition. So that is the main difference. Gout is not autoimmune disease, but rheumatoid arthritis is autoimmune disease. Symmetric joints, gout, no, there is joint is no symmetric, whereas rheumatoid arthritic joint is symmetric. Yes. Diagnosis for gout: uric acid crystals present in the synovial fluid of the joints indicates the condition called gout. Anti-CCP antibodies present in the bloodstream. Yeah. So this is autoimmune disease where your own immune system is attacking the synovial joints, and for attacking they are producing autoantibodies. So there is a antibodies present in the rheumatoid arthritis. Then causes for gout: excess level of uric acid because of kidney problems or certain other medical issues. So in gouts, if you have any kidney problem, then excretion of uric acid is not proper, and that's why the level of uric acid keeps on increasing. Whereas in rheumatoid arthritis, immune system dysfunction thought to be due to genetic and environmental factors. The main cause of rheumatoid arthritis is there is a problem in the immune system. The function is dysfunction, and it is because of some genetic and environmental factors. The risk factor for the gout is kidney disease, diabetes, hypertension, and being obese. Whereas for rheumatoid arthritis, the risk factor is female between 35 to 50 who are overweight. Smokers are at increased risk for rheumatoid arthritis. Then complication for gout are tophi and kidney stones. Tophi is the accumulation of sodium urate crystal around the joints, that is into the soft tissues or skin, that is called as tophi. Whereas for rheumatoid arthritis, it can lead to heart disease, weight gain, and diabetes. Treatment for gout is you can use the anti-inflammatory substance like colchicine, anti-inflammatory medicines, and corticosteroids. Whereas for rheumatoid arthritis, you can use methotrexate, hydroxychloroquine, corticosteroids, heat therapy, and movement exercise. So these are some important difference between the gout and rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so what take-home message is this flow chart, and this difference is enough from this topic. You can remember and you can secure the 5 marks. Okay, students. So now, if you have any doubt from this topic, now you can ask. Okay, so this is main reason is genetics and environmental triggers infections, smoking, and sex hormones. This is some etiological factors which starts this condition called rheumatoid arthritis. And as you know that autoimmunity is a condition where your own immune system attacks your own body cell. So here macrophage and dendritic cells. So macrophage and dendritic cells are the first line cell which acts in the first line defense. Or macrophage and dendritic cells is also a good example of antigen presenting cell, APC. Okay, so APC antigen presenting cell macro example is macrophage and dendritic cells. Why they are called as antigen presenting cells? Because any antigens which is received by these cells, they taken inside, they process it and present on its surface. That's why macrophage and dendritic cells are called as antigen presenting cells, are thought to present instigating antigens to the T cells. So this macrophage and dendritic cells, when they receive the antigens, or even your body cell, it identifies the antigen, they will take it inside, they will process it, and that antigens after processing, they will present on its surface, and on its surface, seeing that the T cells will come and bind to that antigens presented on the surface of macrophage or dendritic cells. And once the T cell will see that antigens comes and binds, then it causes T cell activation and proliferation. So that's where your immune system starts. So once T cell gets activated and proliferates, then this activated T cell is going to produce inflammatory cytokines, that is interleukin C, 6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. Second, this activated T cell stimulates B cell proliferation, and this activated T cell will activate B cell, and this B cells after activation change into plasma cells, and this is the plasma cells which produce antibodies. And the inflammatory response is systemic, means it is related only to the area where the supply of the blood is there. Okay, so this is autoimmune. Your immune system is getting activated, means your immune system is identifying that synovial membrane as a foreign substance, and macrophage and dendritic cells will take that some part of the synovial membrane, process it, present on the surface. T cell gets activates, proliferate, then this activated T cell will produce inflammatory cytokines, and it also make B cell activation and produce plasma cell. Then what happens? There is a decreased production of high allorenin. What is high allorenin? It is a major lubricant in synovial fluids. So that's fluid is going to decrease. There is a decreased production of that lubricant fluid because of that all inflammatory process started. Then inflammation increase matrix metalloproteinase. So this is the enzyme that is called as MMP. Matrix metalloproteinase is the enzymes which cause the degradation of matrix protein. So this enzymes is going to increase, as well as there is increased cartilage damage. So because of the more this metalloproteinase enzymes, then there is more damage of cartilage. Then the plasma cell antibodies form immune complexes here. So this B cell which gets activated from activated T cells form plasma cell, and plasma cells form antibodies, and this antibodies goes and binds on those component of synovial membrane which was identified as foreign substance, and form antigen antibody complex and form immune complexes indirectly. And this immune complexes, that is antigen antibody immune complex, when it gets deposited into the synovial membrane, then it indirectly damages the cartilage. So there is a concept if in immune system where antibodies, after killing the antigens by forming the complex, it has to go out of the body. But the problem comes when this immune complex start depositing in the body, then this complex can damage the wherever it is getting deposited. Then joint damage recruits neutrophils. So because of all these three things, what happens? The joints is getting damages, and because of the damage of the joints, the neutrophils, they call the neutrophils T cells, B cells into the joint space, causing hyperplasia. So because of the more recruitment of neutrophils, T cell and B cells, these are all the component of immune system, and they will come towards the injurious sites. And because of that, there is a hyperplasia, that is increase in the number of the cell and formation of new blood vessel at the synovial membrane. So that way the synovial membrane is going to get inflammation, that is by increasing in the number of cell of synovial membrane. Then neovascularized, that is new blood vessel, hyperplastic synovium, that is more number of cell of synovial membrane is increased, that is also called as PANS. Invades and enzymatically destroy joint tissues. So they are going to attack and destroy the joint tissues. What is the joint tissues? It may be the ligaments, it may be the cartilage, and it may be the subchondral bone. And finally, if it is untreated, severe rheumatoid arthritis will affect the entire body. So student, for rheumatoid arthritis, I would like to just remember the one line of definition, that it is autoimmune disease, okay, where your own immune system attacks the synovial membrane and start the inflammatory process. And for pathogenesis, you have to remember this flow chart, which is starting from the genetic and environmental factors. So when these factors making the synovial membrane or your own joints in components as antigen, then it is the duty of macrophage and dendritic cells to take that which is identified as antigen and process it and present on its surface, so that seeing that T cells will get activates and proliferate. And when there is activation of T cell, then it produces inflammatory cytokines like interleukin 6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, as well as this activated T cells also activate B cell, and once B cell gets activated, it produces two types of cell. One is plasma cell, another is called memory cell. Okay, so memory cell remembers that this kind of antigen was came or not before. But plasma cells play an important role because these plasma cells produce antibodies, and because of this inflammatory process, there is a decreased production of lubricant, that is hyalurons in synovial fluid. There is increased production of enzymes, that is MMP, matrix metalloproteinase, and if there is increased production of this matrix metalloproteinase, then it's going to cause more damage to cartilage. It is going to damage the matrix of cartilage. And then plasma cell antibodies combined with antigen and form immune complex, which is also can deposit into the synovial joints and damage the cartilage. Then joint damage is taking place, and because of that, your immune cells will come to that damaging site, like neutrophils, T cell and B cells will come there and cause increase in the number of synovial membrane cell, that is hyperplasia, and new blood formation. That way the size of synovial membrane is going to increase and damage the ligaments, cartilage and subchondral bone. So this is actually the concept. So one key points you can remember about rheumatoid arthritis is it is autoimmune disorder. Okay, your immune system is only identifying the synovial joint component as a foreign substance and starting the inflammatory process and leading to rheumatoid arthritis.